know that. Maybe some of you are going to be surprised, but there's something that we have in common. I'd say most of us have got in common. If any of you were born between 1946 and 1964, is that you? Let's see, put your hands up. Come on, proudly, proudly. Some of you aren't sure, you can't remember. When was I born? Come on, I got to see those hands. So do you think it's going to be a good idea if we do have even more people born after 1964 in these seats? Yes, excellent. Well, let me tell you this. It's not about age. It's all about our frame of reference and the way that we see the world. How do we see the world? We see the world through the lens that we use because we were profoundly affected and influenced by significant events that took place in our most formative years while we were growing up. And that shaped the way that we look at the world today. So it's all about that lens. And everywhere we go, we are the sum total of all of our past experiences and our history. The biggest challenge that you currently have is because of your success. Because what happens when an organisation is successful? What happens over time? I heard the word. We become stale. We become complacent. We become complacent. So how do we continue to stay energised and reinvigorated so that we can move toward the future? Bring in new ideas. That was a rhetorical question, but that's okay. We're going to be doing lots of thinking together because that's what it's all about. Now, the way that we can engage people from all across, all walks of life, all age groups, you know, the one thing that I want you to be thinking about, because I believe it's a common denominator, you tell me if I'm right about this. We all want to be valued, we all want to be appreciated, and we all want to be understood. And when you look at the world that way, there is no divide. Whether we're talking about culture, whether we're talking about generation, whether we're talking about gender. We all want the same thing. We all want to know that we matter. I thought that perhaps some of you might be a little bit surprised about what really matters to the millennial generation. And why is it relevant? Because when you think about this enormous cohort called Generation Y. Some people call them Generation WHY. And we have a few in the room, as we know. We know that they are now coming into the workplace and everybody is after them. Everybody wants them. So because of that, there's a demand, whether you're talking about business or whether you're talking about non-profit. All non-profit organisations are facing exactly the same challenges as the corporate world. How do we attract people into our organisation? Note that I said, how do we attract people? Not how do we get them in kicking and screaming, but how do we attract them? Deloitte did a survey right across the world to almost 30 different countries, 29 countries, almost 8,000 millennials, asking them what matters to them. And have a look at these results. Isn't that amazing that 75% of them feel that organisations, businesses, are far too focused on their own agenda than they are into helping improve society? This is the millennials. You know, we have our own lens about them, but are we right about them? Here's something else that they said. The main reason that I am going to choose to work for an organisation is because of what that organisation stands for. What is their purpose? Number one driver to the millennials. Are you surprised? Now, is this going to happen overnight? No. It's going to take strategy. It's going to take planning. It's going to take courage. It's going to take conviction. to be able to engage people in the process. And the famous poet Anonymous once said, "Many an open mind should be closed for repairs."